Well, hello everyone and welcome to Invictus Racing League. It's round 1 of season 11 here for our PS4 F3 league. And we bring you to Circuit Paul Ricard, home of the French Grand Prix. I'm your host Ryan, and alongside me tonight, as always, in the commentary box, our reigning PS4 F2 Drivers' Champion, Jacob. You looking forward to this one?
Yeah, definitely. The start of the season, so should be exciting to see what the drivers have got for this season. Looks like a very competitive field, so just ready to get started, really.
Yeah, well, we can expect none less than 27 laps of just non-stop action, to be honest, Jacob. I mean, I genuinely think that we may have the tightest packed grid here for a PS4 F3 tier. Some reigning champions, previous champions in our mix as well. We've actually got 5 on this grid alone. Don't know if you were aware of this yourself, but reigning champion from last season in F3 was Craig. We've also got the likes of Gareth and Jim the Gunner, who are also previous F3 champions. We've got Nick J. Thompson, the previous F2 champion, and Delaney teaming up with Craig this season, who was our realistic performance drivers champion. So definitely some guys that are capable of pretty competitive times in quali. France obviously being a track where some adverse weather conditions could come our way, but so far this week across the rest of Invictus Racing League, only 1 out of the 4 races so far has seen rain. 2 of those races did have threats of rain, but didn't come in the end. I think PS4 F1 saw rain come a drizzle on the last corner for those that were running in the back half of the grid. So everybody's just readied up in the lobby. We'll get a little look to see what the weather's going to be like for qualifying. It looks to be dry so far, Jacob.
Yeah, looks to be a dry quali. Maybe we can get some rain at the end, but who knows? It looks like the sun is out and looks nowhere near for rain, so pretty lucky for the drivers, I guess.
Yeah, and we will just wait for the weather report to come through, but like we say, it's 27 laps tonight. Regardless, 5.8 kilometres, layman's term, that's 3.6 miles. I've got 15 corners, 6 left and 9 to the right. Circuit de Paul Ricard is actually used a lot for tyre testing as well. You'll notice all the blue, red and grey runoff areas made out of pretty abrasive materials. We've got some tungsten and asphalt, so you can expect a few drivers that catch themselves in a spin here tonight wearing those tyres out just a little bit more than they would probably want to if they find themselves on the coloured strips, as we do have our first driver taken to the track in the form of Luke Bailey. Now, we didn't get a chance to see this man last week in pre-season testing, Jacob, at Spa de Francorchamps, sporting the Alfa Romeo. He's already out on the mediums. Who
maybe he will be looking for a different strategy. But yeah, who am I looking forward to seeing? I mean, there's lots of drivers. I pretty much know all of them from F2 last season, or some of them like Craig, who's been in F3 for, I don't know, a couple of seasons. So it looks like a very competitive grid, as you said earlier, and maybe the likes of Adri Lockdock, who got, I don't know, he was in F1 last season, right? So maybe he'll have something interesting to bring to the table.
Yeah, we've got a big mixed bag of drivers, to be honest, Jacob. Drivers that were in F1 last season, F2. We've now also expanded into 4 equal leagues on the PS4 platform. But like I say, I genuinely think that a lot of the action should be coming from this division right here. Like we says, a lot of champions gracing us with their presences. Luke Bailey just rounds the final couple of corners and gets ready to start his first flying lap, so we'll jump on board with the man in the Alfa Romeo. Jacob, if you want to take us round at the first hot lap of the season.
Yeah, so important to get all the way to the right to get the best entry to turn 1 and 2, which looks to be what Luke Bailey, exactly what he does. Get a good exit out of turn 2, into the turn 3, 4 and 5. They're a little tricky if you don't get it completely right. He misses a bit of the apex there, but looks okay. Hogs the inside curve there, and then looks to get a good exit out of turn 7. Now coming onto the first straight, opening the DRS, and looks to be hitting around 330 kilometers an hour. Will look to brake at the 100 meter board, and then go all the way over the curb, which he really doesn't here, but that's fine. Getting a good exit here nonetheless. Then coming up to turn 10, which will be flat out in these cars, so no problem there, even on the mediums. Coming up to a very tricky corner. Feel like it keeps on going, then getting very tight to the apex there, which Luke does very well. Coming up to turn 12, a very tricky corner as well, getting a good exit out of there. Now coming up to the last couple of corners to end the lap. Stay tight on the curb here, and then go all the way wide to get a good entry to the last corner, and on the start-finish straight, opening the DRS and coming up to the finish line, which has been moved a bit further back. And he's done a 31.7 on the medium, which is a very respectable lap.
Yeah, a very drama-free lap there from Luke as well, not wanting to risk any invalidations or anything, so avoiding not necessarily the apexes, but certainly keeping away from those white lines on the ends of the curbs. Benchmark to beat, which has already been done by a man in the Ferrari. Keza on the softs does a 29 flat. We could probably expect a couple of these guys tonight to break into the low 28s potentially. I'm not going to name names because we'll give them the commentary's curse, but I know of a few drivers that have put in a lot of preparation for round 1. I know of a few others that have put in absolutely nothing. So speaking of which, commentator's curse comes my way often enough from this man, Gareth Hall in the Mercedes. He's out in the mediums. One of the men, I says I wouldn't name names, but I'm going to. One of the men that has not put much effort into preparation. Gareth does actually have, well, what he classes as a real commentary job, where he commentates on the junior superbikes. It's a feeder series to the British superbikes. He does that at the weekends, so commentating over somewhere up to 42 races. Finds himself pretty tired when it comes to commentating for a Monday night, but seems to be chapping on a bit here through sector 1. Jacob, as he spots his braking point down into...
Yeah, spots his braking point well there, and getting a bit of a rumbly exit, but keeps on going nonetheless. On the mediums as well, which looks to be the case for a lot of drivers tonight. And as we know, the soft tyres, the soft tyre runners from the start in the top 10 will struggle to keep them lasting for the one stop. So definitely some strategy going on already.
In the meantime, Wojtek, another Ferrari, locking out the front row, which is something that we haven't unfortunately been able to see this season in the actual F1. Breaking into just below the mid 28s, 28.437. It's a very respectable lap. That would have actually made him quite competitive last night in PS4's F2 division, and probably would have put him on the front row for Xbox F2 as well. So Gareth comes across the line, slots in a 10th, not even a 10th, half a 10th behind Luke Bailey into 8th place. So a few drivers peeling into the pits. We'll have a little look to see who else is going to be coming across the line. As Jim the Gunner jumps up to 5th, second of the medium runners, in behind Jeffrey Henney. Just broke into the 30s.
And as I've just been hit up with the weather forecast, it looks to be dry both in quali and race, so dry all out.
Jumped on board with Simon Palmer, who's in sector 3 in his Alfa Romeo. Using a lot more curb than his teammate Luke Bailey. Hopefully that will represent the exact same in pace, but he is still running in hot laps, so it does look as if he's going to come around and complete this lap after already doing 2. A few of these guys just getting a good run in on these yellow marked tyres. Simon charges down towards the start finish line now. He's in 7th, he's not going to be able to improve. It's still a 31 flat, but see a few drivers coming out the pits now. McLaren just peeling out. looks to be that of Reska95, another driver that's yet to set a time. See if anybody else is on a hot lap at the minute. Does look as if R&J has just started a lap. Yes, he's just coming up to complete sector 1 within the next couple of seconds, so we'll stay on board with Aaron, who has set a purple sector 1, another driver that has graced us with his presence from F2 last season. He's getting a lovely tow here from Steel B, feeling very innocent there on the inside in that Haas. But you notice a lot of slip roads here at the French F1 circuit. Do you know there's actually 167 layouts of this track? The F1 layout obviously only taking up one of them. But yeah,
very interesting to know.
Just on that DRS, cars reaching, like you said, just over 200 miles an hour with DRS, full throttle for the lap for over 50, nearly 60%. There's an average of 46 gear changes per lap as well, Jacob, so pretty strenuous on those tyres as well. A mixture of strategies which we'll touch on very shortly during your formation lap, as Reska's looking to start his flying lap. Might actually look to hold Aaron up just slightly, but
as he'll get a lovely strip to end his lap.
Managed to get himself in the front row within a couple of tenths to avoid taking the Ferrari, but what we'll do is we'll jump on board with the man that was just in front of him, Reska, in that McLaren. We'll see what this man's got in store for us tonight. A little bit of a lock up on the inside front there, but all the way down into first there, Jacob, for the completion of sector 1. Obviously no time on the board at the minute for us to compare to on deltas, but yeah, a track that isn't very strenuous on the brakes here, Jacob. 3 very, very long straights to give the brakes plenty of time to cool down, but there really is only 4 very harsh braking zones throughout the entire track.
Yeah, and the braking zone, as you said, with the brakes cooling down, that definitely won't help with the tyres locking up, as you see loads of drivers actually doing that because of the brakes are getting all cold.
Reska's certainly not shy of a little lock up here and there. Hopefully managing to keep it valid, which is nice to see. I haven't seen any red track maps down the bottom right of your screen just yet, but Reska probably runs a little bit wider with plenty of wheel spin coming out of the final hairpin. Goes all the way over to the right hand side. It's enough for 7th place at 30.6. Just wondering who's going to manage to dethrone Wojciech, as Steel B actually crossed the line there just behind Reska to set a 29 flat.
Yeah, so it looks to be as we have Craig on the medium tyre spinning out of sector 1. Look to be setting his first time on the medium tyres. They'll be gone now. So he'll have to set a time on the soft, which it doesn't look like he's much of doing, but those mediums, their temperatures are rising, and they are like 120 degrees when you spin like that. So he'll definitely have to cool them down if he has to go enough fuel for another lap.
We'll jump on board with Keza in the Ferrari, just crossed the start finish line, about to start another flying lap. Rocking number 9, he's sporting another set of softs, and it looks as if he has bailed out of that lap already. Obviously wasn't happy with his exit out of turn 2. He's going to save his tyres and maybe go for another run. No fuel light on just yet, so should have enough fuel potentially, unless he wants to get a fresh set of boots on for another lap. Another man that has just started his hot lap, Nick J. Thompson. As we said, Nick, one of those drivers who does have a championship to his name, not in PS4's F3 though. He was actually F2 champion, just like yourself, Jacob. We've actually got 7 champions gracing your screens tonight, guys. 5 on track and 2 in the commentary booth. Not to toot our own horn, but and we do also have a champion in our mixed in the comments. Scott Buckner is commenting on the channel just now. Seems to be pretty happy with what he's hearing and seeing on screen so far. Hopefully we've got a good race for you tonight if you are watching at home. What's quite good to see as well, Jacob, is the amount of drivers that we've noticed that are running no assists, even in the F3 division. Lockups left, right and centre, but very drama free when it comes to getting on the power mainly.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, for me at least, it was quite unexpected, the amount of drivers in F3 going for no assists, but definitely respecting drivers who do that, because it can be quite hard and harsh and unforgiving and all sorts on some tracks. Definitely on this track it can be quite unforgiving on some of the curbs. If you get too greedy on the power, then you'll spin, and that's pretty much race over from there.
Not many cars on track at the minute, as we just watched Nick J. Thompson complete his lap in the Alpha Tauri. It's enough for a 28.7 and the presence of the second slot on the second row of the grid alongside his teammate Aaron J in third and fourth. So there was a little bit of a hole between those two Ferraris. Wojtek still a provisional pole sitter on 28.4. Currently on board now with Jim Naguna, who's well down in the 30s. Last lap was on those mediums. Actually jump onto T-Cam to get a better view to see what sort of lines Jim is gracing us with. Riding that 6th gear pretty hard round there, but kisses the apex perfectly just on that curb. He's got a little bit of traffic to contend with in the form of Nick, but Nick pretty happy just to peel off the track there. Give Jim as much room as he needs. Very tricky braking zone round here, Jacob. Probably one of the easier ones to lock up.
Yeah, definitely. But looks quite neat and tidy from Jim Laguna there.
Running out of ERS before he even crosses the line. It's enough for 8th. He's into the 29s. It's a second quicker than his medium lap, but a lot of drivers on out laps at the minute. Looks as if the next driver that's going to be setting up for a flying lap is Reshka. Definitely using the full range of that 8-speed gearbox right down to first gear for the hairpin. ERS turned right up into hot lap. Slight lock up at turn 1, kisses apex perfectly, but he gets in the power nice and early out of turn 2, and the drive down to turn 3. Again, somewhere in between the 100 and the 50, taking all the curb on the right hand side. Big lock up as he's coming round to complete sector 1. Long sweeping turn of 6. Managing to get the power on early again into turn 7. Yellow flags being flashed at him for a little bit of traffic ahead in the form of a Ferrari. That's Keza. See if Reshka using all the track that's available to him, maybe carrying just a little bit too much speed there into turn 8, compromising his line for turn 9 slightly. Purple sector 2 we are shown, however. He's obviously done something right. Very easy to lose the back end of the car through that part. Reshka missing big apexes right there. Big lock up on the inside left. Certainly up and down those gears. We know that we can use those gears to get the car rotated just that little bit extra. Plows as close to the pit lane as he possibly can. It gains him 1 position. It's almost a 30 dead. 9th place for Reshka in his McLaren.
As I just gone on board on Wojtek, he was 10th up through the first 2 sectors, and then he kind of just avoided the lap. I don't know. It looks like a neat and tidy lap, but he definitely just abandoned
left, yeah. It does look
so
as if that's
he won't have time to do another.
Yeah, Wojtek's banker at 28.4. It's a very good lap. Can anybody beat it? The Steel B's about to come across the line It's enough to put him alongside his teammate Jeffrey Henney. Is anybody going to be able to dethrone? So a few drivers are going to be a little bit neat here. We've got the Renault of Beck 9000 and the Mercedes of Gareth Hall, who are literally caning it towards the start finish line to try and get their hot lap started in time. What we'll do, Luke Bailey is going to finish for this evening in qualifying. Simon Palmer's going to do the exact same, both outside the top 10 and opting for an alternate strategy. The next driver that's going to come across the line and yet to set a time is Craig. It's enough for 5th at 28.794. As we said, next driver, Reshka, has aborted his lap. He seems pretty happy to sit at the front of the alternate strategy in 11th. Ferrari, next car to come across, Keza, up into 8th gear. He's jumped into 3rd, 28.545. Is anybody going to be able to take it to Wojtek before time runs out here? Looks like Jeffrey Henney's chosen to abort his lap, slowed right down before the line. 2nd place will do him. Less Beck 9000 and Adri Lockdock. Adri Lockdock, another driver that's failed to set a time so far. He's still on those mediums. 17th is where he is just now. Time on the board jumps up to 15th. It's a 31 flat. Next car to come.
As R&J have just gone on pole position with a 28.4 and then
Thompson's
just beaten out by his teammate Nick. So already looks to be a bit of competition in the AlphaTauri team.
So unless Beck 9000, it's enough for 6. Doesn't look as if anybody's going to be able to dethrone the AlphaTauri front row. Nick J. Thompson and RNGS, you're 1-2. I don't think they'll grumble at that, Jacob, and some pretty quick times as well.
Yeah, definitely very close up top with the top 4 even, top 5 being within 2 tenths. So it will definitely be a strong and long lasting battle for the top 5 if it keeps on going like this, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
We have seen so far in pre-season testing that some DRS chains have been forming. France is no surprise either, and it's not shy of a DRS chain. There is your pole sitter, Nick J. Thompson. A very good lap actually. But yeah, like we said, a good mixture of strategies could be used tonight. Obviously you can see here your top 10 all qualifying on those softs. Opens up 2 strategies for them, Jacob, so those that do dare to go long, you can expect those softs to fall off around lap 7. If they do opt to pit onto a set of hard tyres, they will need to look after them to make it to the end of the race on a 1-stop. The 2-stop does open up though, pit box opening between lap 5 and 7 realistically, for a double set of mediums to follow. Like we said, even then, if you look after those mediums enough in your middle stint, you could even push it to put a set of softs on towards the end. But a lot of these guys outside the top 10, qualifying from 11th backwards, will be quite happy to look after their tyres and do that medium to hard. But yeah, safety cars, we obviously know weather's going to be dry, but safety cars can play a big factor in strategies here tonight. Don't be surprised to see a puncture or 2 actually, those that choose to take the softs just that little bit too far. But that is your race classifications. It's an AlphaTauri lockout, 1-2, Nick J. Thompson and RNGS, Wojtek and Jeffrey on your 2nd row, Keza, Beck, Steel B, Craig, Colin and Matty round out your top 10. 11th backwards we've got Jim, Reshka, Delanya, Gareth, Luke Bailey tucked in just behind. But can't imagine that anybody else. Obviously Adri Lockdock and Simon Palmer rounding out 19th and 20th. If you're outside the top 10, Jacob, would you opt for the mediums?
Yeah, definitely. The guys further back can even go for the hard to start on. But yeah, the 1-stop with the medium hard will definitely be way easier because you don't have to look for after your tires that much. You don't have to save your tires, so they'll definitely be looking to push for 27 laps flat out. And as we know from personal experience, the two-stopper is not something what you want to do around here. You'll end up losing out.
Now, while we wait for all the drivers to pick their race strategies for this evening here in France, be sure to check out the other videos that have been uploaded to YouTube so far this week across all three platforms, Xbox, PS4 and PC, coming tonight as well. So Austria next week, kicked off on Sundays. Xbox F1 9 PM Sundays on Twitch. That's hosted by Dan and Luke. Followed by PS4 F1 at 8 PM on Mondays on the YouTube channel, hosted by Gareth and Sab. PS4 F2 8 PM Tuesdays on YouTube. That's Harry and Charlie. Followed by Xbox F2 at 9 PM on the Twitch channel. Commentary team for that is pending. Busy Wednesdays. You've got myself and Jacob here hosting PS4's F3 on YouTube. Running parallel with that, we've also got PS4 F4 running parallel on YouTube with Jake Warrior, and PC F1 also 8 PM YouTube Wednesday nights. Commentary team pending for that, and the week is completed by PS4's Performance League. That's realistic performance cars, 8 PM on YouTube, hosted by the one and only Malc and the greatest American commentator of all time, Tim. Drivers obviously still selecting strategy at the moment. Bit interesting to see. It's a tricky one into the left right hander of turn 1 and 2. There's really only one line through it if you carry the speed you want to carry through there, Jacob. So hopefully we can make it through unscathed and have a full grid of racing for the entire night, but don't want
You
to
just
go
never
cursing
know.
it either. Yeah. Have you any predictions for tonight's podium?
Definitely looking at the AlphaTauri guys as an interesting team there. I'm expecting at least one of them to be up there. And as we know with Aaron, he lost his overtakes, as we saw in Spa last week. So maybe he'll go to challenge Nick into turn 1. Other than that, the Haas and Ferrari guys looks quite tight from qualifying, so they'll probably want to challenge for a podium as well.
So looking at those selected strategies, everybody outside of the top 10 has selected those medium tyres, other than that of Adri Lockdock in that Renault down in 16th place, who's on the grey marked hard tyres. So Adri Lockdock not shy of pace, mind you. Don't think he'll do too badly on those hards to keep up with the medium runners around. But like we said, not necessarily a bad thing qualifying around about 11th, 12th and even 13th. Because to be honest, medium too hard probably is the preferred strategy of the drivers here tonight. It's a bit risky taking those softs long enough to do that one stop, and the two stop will make drivers very vulnerable unless they do have some pretty exceptional pace. But given some of the qualifying times that we've seen so far tonight, Jacob, I think there's a few drivers that aren't shy of it. Like you said, not much separating even the top 5, so we should be in for a good one.
Yeah, most definitely. Now the drivers coming through to this sector 3 warming up their tyres. Important for Adri Lockdock is to keep warming up his hards, because they're very hard to warm up. So he'll have to use all the track and use all the gears to warm up his tyres, which he doesn't look to be doing. He looks to be forming a little safety car with Simon Palmer at 17th. But yeah, anyway, going at the start-finish straight up to the grid box.
Now, if the AlphaTauri boys play this right, they could lock out turn 1 and 2, working together after DRS opens on lap 3. The taps could open up and they could just shoot off into the distance, but with the likes of Wojtek, Jeffrey Henney, Keze and Beck 9000, in fact all the guys in the top 10 on those soft tyres, I'm sure will be breathing down the neck of both of these AlphaTauri drivers. So As the lights come on, we get ready to go racing. See if we can get a good view. No lights on my screen at the minute. 3, 4, 5 red lights. Drive-through penalty for Bet 9000. It's a jump start. It wasn't even close to the lights going out, as everybody else seems to get quite a good getaway. Gareth Hall's already made up a few places. We'll see if we can make it through. One of the AlphaTauris is round. Nick J. Thompson is well down the grid, and RNGS is already shot down to 4th. Check the 1 yellow flags, 5-second penalty picked up for Wojtek. AlphaTauri of Nick J. Thompson still struggling to get going out of turn 2, but green flags are being waved again. We're back underway with racing.
As we know, Nick is having a tough time at the start, as he was last week. He spun round in turn 1 again, so maybe he's struggling with the clutch. But yeah, he avoided damage, unfortunately for him, so he'll now be charging at a rapid pace to get at the back of Simon Palmer, which he has 3.3 seconds.
Out the front, Jeffrey Henney in the Haas is already making a move on R&J into the long sweeping right-hander, just entering sector 3. He's done very well there, but R&JS not looking to be releasing the pressure as Beck 9000 is already getting a bit feisty there with the likes of Kez in that Ferrari. It's inviting Matty in the McLaren also, but plenty of action so far on lap 1 here, Jacob.
Yeah, looks like the drivers are really fighting for position here, which they should, because whenever the DRS open up, you want to be at the front of the train.
There is an absolutely massive chain now sat behind Craig in 8th place as they all come down the start-finish grid. Nobody with DRS just yet. Jeffrey Henney picks up the fastest lap of the race. He's out in the lead. Beck 9000 really closing the gap to that Ferrari in front of Keza. He's actually going to make a move now down into turn 3. He's got it done. Big lock-up. Keza's managed to get the switch back on him. Doesn't look. It's actually going to invite Matty right in
McLaren, have a look.
McLaren.
And the Mercedes having a look at McLaren. All sorts of going on.
Colin getting caught running out well wide there. Not able to get onto the power quite as quick as he would like, but Steel B now pressing onto the back of Matty. It does look as if our two leaders are forming quite the gap as well. 2 seconds adrift from Keza in 3rd, 2.1 now. Plenty of action, and as it looks, Craig's making a move on Colin just that bit further back for 7th place. Reska's also going to come and sneak up the inside of the front of the medium runners, taking 8th from Colin. Matty and Beck now changing positions. I don't know where to look, Jacob.
Going side by side, yeah, and the McLaren not giving the position up. Really fighting for the inside there, and he's got it. He's got it up to P4, Matty. What a start.
Beck's not going to let it go though. He's still all over the back, but Beck's actually peeled away into the pits now, so he may have even picked up damage potentially. But yeah, Jeffrey and Aaron absolutely flying. They're gone. Colin and Wojtek now fighting for 8th place. Wojtek, Colin with a bit of a squirm out of turn 2. Again, Colin's really struggling on this first stint now. He's fallen into the mix of the medium runners. He's going to be coming under pressure from Craig's teammate Delaney in the Red Bull. Wojtek pushing right up to the back of Reska. Reska will do well to hold him off. Beck not only pitting early but picking up a penalty for his troubles as well. Reska and Wojtek going at it. Reska's covering off the inside, but Wojtek just doesn't have that straight line speed. But managed to give Reska a little bit of a squeeze there on the inside. Does look as if Reska's got a little bit of a better run out of turn 9, though he's going to be able to put some pressure back onto the man in the Ferrari. Respectable letting off the throttle there, but it's also allowed Wojtek to come back through. We're on T-Cam right now on the McLaren. Reska going to bide his time for the time being. A little bit further back, Andrew Lockdock's also all over the back of Jim the Gunner, but the traffic in front, there's not much that anybody's really going to be able to do at the minute. DRS will be granted at the end of this lap.
Yeah, Reschke really holding well with the medium tyres, keeping Colin on the soft tyres behind. Colin obviously on the soft tyres got way better traction out of the corners for the next 2 or maybe not 3 laps, 2 laps, so he'll definitely have to, if he wants to fight for the podium, he's going to have to get past Reschke in a hurry, which he looks to do now, going on the inside into turn 3, going side by side.
Tell you what,
but Reschke
Jacob,
not giving the place up.
Absolutely excellent driving from these guys tonight. There's been a lot of wheel-to-wheel action so far. We're only on lap 4. Usually we'll see
drivers showing each other lots of respect.
But yeah, it's great to see.
And you know what? I don't think Beck actually pitted. He was the one with the drive
found himself on the outside there of turn 9. Did see a bit of damage fly up. It doesn't look as if it's from Jeffrey's car, but he's now fell down the order, and Keza's jumped up into second place. Steele's still going to be losing. Jeffrey's still going to be losing positions now to even his teammate.
No, it's Aaron with the damage. He is.
It looks as if
there's some damage
guys.
on the front ring, left front ring.
Looks as if Aaron might actually need to potentially pit a little bit earlier than you would have expected this evening, but with a gap of 2 seconds, I don't know if it's affecting him much. But yep, Aaron peeling into the pit, so Keza on the Ferrari. Oh, Keza's coming in as well. Does look as if the majority of these guys might be committing to a 2-stop. Keza without any damage or anything shown on that Ferrari. He's gifting the lead to the Haas boys.
And what all of this is doing, it's really working out for the medium runners with the soft guys having to fight each other, because the medium, as we look at Reschke obviously having Colin behind, he's created a lot of room ahead of him, so his tyres will not wear down as much, and he will look to cruise onto the hard tyres and then make the one-stop work.
So a lot of penalties flag up as well. A very, very unforgiving track here. The circuit Paul Ricard. For those warnings, it's absolutely relentless. There's no give as well. Wojtek in the Ferrari goes very wide as he finds himself in that McLaren sandwich. Hopefully Reschke can push up to the back of him, only 1.6 seconds adrift, but he's got the likes of Colin in his rear view mirror, but might actually have a little bit of a breather as Delaney makes the move on Colin there for 7th place. He's done very, very well, but again, another driver that's doing well on the mediums. Both the boys. Delaney in the mediums, finding himself right up behind Reschke. Gareth as well, only half a second further back, but Colin is now going to opt to pit now.
As both Wojciech and Jeffrey get a 5-second penalty for speeding on the pit lane, so we loads of drivers not going to slow down at the pit entry board, and yeah, that will definitely not be ideal.
You see the graphic in the right hand side with the pit window now opening as Matty also picks up a 3-second time penalty. Multiple drivers now look to be committing to that 2-stop. It's the medium tyres that the guys are putting on, so unless they know something we don't with the weather, it might be a long night for these guys that found themselves fighting at the front, might not find themselves fighting back up through the grid quite as quickly as they think they will.
As I've just seen, we've got a reluctant on the hard tyres, as I mentioned before, that you could go on the hards if you're at the very back end. He seems to be really getting them to work now, really fighting for the position with Jim and really pushing him.
There's plenty of battling going on.
As he goes on the inside into turn 10, and he's got the position. Oh no, he has actually. The side by side, Jim doesn't give up the position and stays on the outside for turn 12.
And they're still pretty close and trying to go wheel to wheel. Adrian Lockdock compromising Jim's line a little bit, making him take the defensive route. Adrian Lockdock's really going to open that volumes up in front of him as they now round into the final hairpin. Late apex for Adrian Lockdock in that Renault. So he doesn't choose to burn overtake just yet, but DRS isn't going to do much for him either, as Jim the Gunner and the Williams has also got it off the back. Gareth, great defence from Gareth there in sector 2 on the lap before, preventing Jim from getting past, maybe giving him that much of a squeeze. That was also a penalty picked up for Jim the Gunner, but Keza, fresh mediums, 33.4 is your new fastest lap of the race so far.
As Gareth now on the straight will do everything in his power to keep both Jim and Adri behind him, going all the way to the left to avoid the slipstream.
Gareth
doesn't look like they're on the overtake.
The DRS with everybody behind, that's the only thing, but yep, not quite close enough this time around, as you said, Jacob. Andrew Lockdock well up on those hard tyres, doing very, very well. The leader's finding himself a bit of a drift from the rest of the pack on those softs. Steeler Craig may only look to do one more lap on these tyres before they do opt to pit. We are on lap 7, mind you, so you would expect to see them potentially come in and pit this lap or next. Those front tyres will be getting up to the likes of 70% wear and easily over 105 degrees in heat. Hopefully not risking a puncture, but all the action seems to be for 5th place at the minute, Jacob.
Yeah, as both of the guys in the top, as Craig Steele pits, so we'll have a new leader for the moment, which will be Reska, with the Lange all over him, with the DRS now, as Reska won't have the DRS.
Two drivers that have came from F2 last season, had plenty of battles on track there as well, but yeah, Reska going to be vulnerable, 3/10. He leads Delaney in that Red Bull. Both started on the medium tyres, and it's all your medium and hard runners now within the top 8. Beck looks to be extending that stint a little bit further than you would expect, but Delaney half a second back. Is Reska going to defend, or is he even going to need to? Is he close enough to have a go just yet? He's going to look up the inside. Absolutely rotten cams, thanks very much, Codemasters. Delaney biding his time at the minute, but a little bit further back, Jim the Gunner right behind him has managed to get the move done on Gareth and at the chicane that he did try a few laps ago. Not only that, Andrew Lockdock is now going to push right up to the back of the Mercedes, putting Gareth under even more pressure in the same lap as he now enter sector 3. Round turn 11, the Renault getting a little bit squirmy on exit. Dirty air, very difficult to follow around these medium.
Delange going on the inside of Reska for the lead, because of Reska's bad exit, and they'll be side by side in the last corner. Reska keeping to the inside, forcing Delange a bit wide, but
big lock up from the McLaren, but some nice fighting. Jim the Gunner just a second adrift. Reska's going to have DRS this time. It's going to allow him back into the lead for the time being, but Delaney's not going to let that one go. Reska makes another mistake. I'm sure the man in the Red Bull will look to capitalise on it, but Craig and Steele after their pit stop, selecting those hard tyres and committing to the one stop, hopefully. See themselves only 7/10 behind that of R&J, who pitted that little bit earlier. Also put the hard tyres on, he's done 4 laps on them so far. Delaney 4.5/10. Jim the Gunner's now within that 1 second window. DRS is now going to open for him. It just shows you, Jacob, how close this F3 grid is this season.
Yeah, with the top 5 guys inside of the DRS. And this is really helping out Adri Lockdock with the DRS, gaining those couple of tenths each lap, which will make his last stint way easier on the mediums.
A great view there showing us all the cars coming through turn 11, catching the curb with the head up to turn 12. Reska looks to be a bit better on the braking in the race than he has done during qualifying. See how he does into this final hairpin. The very tricky one is the Williams behind. Jim the Gunner peels into the pits on lap 8, looking to get the undercut potentially, Jacob, on the 2 guys in front of him.
Yeah, very early pit stop on the mediums, but yeah, he'll have to be looking for the undercut, otherwise I'm not sure why he's pitting this early. Maybe he's having some tyre wear problems.
Expect to see these guys at the front come in round about lap 10 or 11. 11 being the optimum to take the hards to the end and not be worrying too much about them, as a few pit stops obviously bumping the rest of the grid up. We're on board with Delaney just now. Even with DRS, Reshka's managed to open up enough of a window that he shouldn't be vulnerable this time around, although Delaney will have DRS to assist him. Adrian Lockdock is now pushing up on those hard tyres just outside that window. Gareth Hall's going to be putting plenty of pressure on the man in the Renault. Great looking car this season. I love the livery that's on the Mercedes. I'm sure after the car allocations came out, they were pretty happy after the livery was updated in the official calendar for F1. Yeah, Gareth all over the back of Andrew Lockdock now. Still feels obviously that he's got plenty of life in those medium tyres. Might be a good time to boast and state that Gareth might actually be using my setup for tonight. He told me he didn't have one after zero preparation, so not supposed to have any favourites as a commentator, but
seems to be working out quite well.
Yeah. Craig's falling quite a bit back from Steel B after being pretty close to him after those pit stops. 3.1 seconds back. Steel B obviously finding a bit more pace than Craig can on those hard tyres after being pretty close on the mediums. It's not uncommon. Is right behind them. Wojtek, fresh softs, 4 laps on them. Low Collins going to have DRS as well. Wojtek might actually be close enough to have a look, but nope. Decides to back out of it, runs a little bit wide into turn 1. It's going to compromise him now, potentially for the DRS run up into, out of turn 7.
As that Lockdock just crucially picked up the DRS on Delange just about to keep Gareth behind into turn 8.
It'll be interesting to see Simon Palmer and Keza swapping positions there. Keza moving up now to 6th place in front of the man in the Alpha.
Yeah, Keza looks to be absolutely rapid right on speed right now, as he's all the way up to 6th after having pitted early on the softs.
As you said, Jacob, Adri on those hard tyres. Once he pits and he selects those mediums, I think Fuzel in the comments might be right. Adri could be a very, very strong contender if he keeps himself out of trouble here for pushing towards the end on those medium tyres. Reshka looking to get the overcut, see if he can try and pull away from Delaney a little bit once he comes out of the pit box. Sure it'll be the hard tyres that he selects as well, as you now see the pit window open between lap 12 to 15. Luke Bailey and Simon Palmer. Looks to be a double stack and a wing change. That's going to compromise Simon Palmer's pit stop, unfortunately, as they both jump in and put a fresh set of hard boots on. Simon Palmer still being held in the pits here, Jacob. It's not a great pit stop for the man in the Alfa Romeo.
No, definitely not ideal, as I'm looking at Adrian Lockdock now going on the straight, challenging Delange for P1 at the moment. But he keeps on behind and will definitely challenge him into turn 10.
Does look as if he has plenty energy deployment as he looks down at the steering wheel, ships it off into overtake.
As he overtakes him into turn 10, very well done. Respectful racing from both drivers, as we love to see. This was also crucial for Delange not to lose that much time while going on the overcut on Reshka.
The battle that's going on, it has actually allowed Gareth to close up ever so slightly, as we can expect Delaney to peel into the pits, and Gareth is actually going to push on for another lap on the mediums. Andrew Lockdock on those hard tyres will inherit your race lead. There's what would effectively be your net pole sitter. Steel B, we'll see where he comes out in relation to Delaney. Aaron obviously looking to potentially go to the end. 8 laps on those hards might be a bit of a task, but we'll see if he can manage. Simon Palmer's managed to rejoin the session, immediately coming under pressure from Bet 9000 in the Renault.
Delange now succeeded on the overcut and is all the way over Jim. And his new tyres, Jim, three laps old. So very well in lap from the Delange there.
Still under a little bit of pressure from Reschke within half a second, so just jump on board and see if we can get a little look at your position changes. Adrian Lockdock yet to stop, but he's up 15 positions. Gareth Hall up 12 in second. Rest of your grid has fallen. Nick J. Thompson finds himself down in 9th position after that lap 1 off at turns 1 and 2. And wow, we've got a great battle going on here between Delange and Reschke, as Reschke actually gets through, takes 13th from the man in the Red Bull. Now he's going to try and press up to the back of Jim the Gunner on the Williams.
Yeah, it looked like Delange was struggling with heat in the tyres because they were way cold, and obviously Reschke having that 1 lap older tyres and pitting that 1 lap earlier will have the heat perfect condition now, so that might be why he had so much better traction out of that turn 7.
Adrian Lockdock, the only man on track yet to pit. Gareth peels into the pits. We'll see where that brings him out. Realistically going to be somewhere around about Matty, as he's just getting to the end of the pit lane, and no, he's actually going to be falling down. Coming out between Gareth and Delange, right in front of Luke Bailey, so that could be an interesting battle to follow. Obviously both drivers now go to the end, and Luke Bailey within the DRS, the man in the Merc. Jump up a bit closer to the front. Wojtek on those softs, the tyres starting to see the end of their life potentially, but it's Nick J. Thompson in the Alpha Tauri, press right up to that of, what's that, the sister car in the Red Bull? Yeah?
Yep. As he goes on the inside, yeah, and gets P7 from Craig on the medium tyre, which is expected to be a bit faster than the hards.
Big dive there from Nick on those mediums, but Craig's not going to let it go just yet, still within a couple of tenths of Nick. Nick getting a little bit loose there by the looks of it, just around turn 10, but Craig hanging on to the back of him, who have DRS this time around as well. But Delange and Reschke, looks as if it's going to be a battle right up until the death. 4 tenths separate the McLaren and the Red Bull, currently sat P12 and 13. Plenty of cars still to pit in front as Wojtek now opts to come in off those softs. I'm sure he'll be looking to potentially fit a set of probably mediums to go hards to the end.
Oh no, he had a 5-second penalty that will put him right at the back of the grid.
Yeah, it's a bit
coming out
even behind
Beck.
Delange's got back through. Reschke in the McLaren for 11th.
What a fight.
The two of them are working together pretty well, though. They've managed to go right up to the back of Jim the Gunner. They're within the DRS window, so could see a little bit of a stalemate between these two until they manage to clear a bit of traffic ahead. Colin and Matty laps 9 and 8 on those mediums. We're looking to pit within the next few.
Reschke now having a look at the Delange. Not close enough. Almost hitting the back of the Delange would be crucial to avoid the front wing damage around here.
Certainly keeping the pressure on, trying to force the Red Bull into a few mistakes. Reschke opting for the overtake. He's going to take to the outside
as
line.
They go side by side again.
Absolutely brilliant racing from the two of them as we see them coming round the long sweeping left, right-hander, sorry, turn 11. Delange's managed to just hold on and no more.
Yeah, none of them giving up.
It's great to see as Keza now pits from those mediums. Adrian Lockdock still going on those hards. Great battling for effectively the small points, potentially closing up to the back of Jim as he now enter the top 10. Oh,
we have a yellow flag. Is that's Jeffrey Henney on the old mediums tyres. He was running second. Yeah. That's a very unfortunate for Jeffrey, who's looking to have a great race tonight.
Has picked up some front wing damage, so it's going to be a pit stop, which was expected to be coming anyway for the man in the Haas, as he's keeping himself out of the way and off the track to allow some quicker moving cars pass through. Craig and Collins slot up to 5th and 6th. We'll have a look down the timing sheet now. Luke Bailey finding himself in behind the Ferrari. He'll be trying to hang on to the coattails to the Ferrari on fresh mediums, see if he can keep the DRS and get pulled along. Did well to get back moving again, Jacob. No DNFs so far this evening. I don't know why I said that. I've just cursed it. Somebody's going to end up retiring now.
Now it's going to happen.
Adrian Lockdock still pushing on those hards. Do you think he's maybe trying to push it far enough to get himself onto a set of softs at the end?
Yeah, it's possible to do that, and what his pace is absolutely rapid on those old hards compared to the likes of Aaron and Steele. He's keeping them. He's actually a bit faster than them still on the old hards, so very impressive from Adrian Lockdock.
Colin comes in for his pit stop, but Gareth and Keza going wheel to wheel now. Keza with a bit of a squeeze there on those mediums, taking it from Gareth, closing right up to the back of Reschke, now in 9th place. Now, fresh set of mediums at this stage in the race, really going to be fighting back up through these guys that are on the hards, and you can see just how close Keza is getting. And there we go, I've only gone and done it. But granted, it wasn't a retirement on track. Simon Palmer's chosen to retire himself.
One lap short. Yeah, it looked like he had some connection issue as well, so not an idea to remember from Simons.
Keza round outside of Reschke and the McLaren. Reschke's going to fight back immediately, and he's up round outside of the man in the Ferrari. Reschke's going to have to slot back in behind, and these two battling is really just bringing Gareth into play behind in the Mercedes. Yellow flag sector 1, as it looks as if Simon Palmer's car's unfortunately made its way back out of the track, but hopefully that can get cleared as Adrian Lockdock now pits from the lead. By the time Aaron and Steele get themselves round to turns 1 and 2, hopefully the Alfa Romeo should be cleared from track to avoid bringing out any safety car. Keza still all over the back of the McLaren, making Reschke compromise his line. Beautiful switch back, and he's also going to inherit the DRS, and Reschke will get it anyway because they're close enough to the car in front. Gareth's now going to have a look at Reschke, and Reschke's unfortunately just looking to be potentially falling down the order. He managed to hold on to 10th place for the time being. Keza's already pushing up to the back of Matty, so Keza showing some brilliant pace on this fresh set of mediums.
Yes, he qualified in the top 5, so that's phenomenal to see. Even on his 2 stoppers seems to be working. And unfortunate with Reschke going all the way down in 10th. He was challenged in DeLange, but maybe he pushed too hard on those hards, as DeLange is all the way up in 6th.
Yep. Adrian Lockdock's about to as Adrian Lockdock cuts that corner by miles. It wouldn't surprise me if that was a straight 3-second time penalty instead of warnings, but regardless, still going to be putting pressure on DeLange, wasting absolutely no time to fight back up through the grid. 9 laps left to try and get up another 5 positions, as Jim the Gunner's only 1.3 seconds a bit further up the road. Reschke again coming under more pressure from Gareth behind in the Mercedes.
Yeah, and as I've just had a look on the penalty situation, it doesn't look like anyone in the top 4 except Steele he's got a 3-second penalty. The 3 other, like Craig, Nick and Aaron, they're clean, and that's what we'd love to see.
Yep. Nick will look to pit within the next lap or 2 onto what would be expected a set of softs to be quick towards the end, but driver we haven't spoken too much about tonight, Jacob Craig, having a little race of his own. 11 laps on those hard tyres at the minute. 4.5 seconds adrift from the car in front, and the car behind 4.5 seconds adrift from him, but looking to inherit a podium position, see if he can try and close up to the back of the man in the Haas of Steele and Aaron, who again's had a pretty flawless race out in the lead. 14 laps, a bit longer on those tyres, but 1.5 seconds further up from Steele, I'm sure. that gap might start to close as the tyres start to wear, and Adrian Lockdock, Jim the Gooner, there's not much the man in the Williams is going to be able to do. Pull over to the inside and let him through. Adrian Lockdock looks to be the man on the mission. Craig is the next target, 4.7 seconds further back. We'll keep an eye on that gap closing as the laps go on.
Yeah, Adrian Lockdock, as you say, absolutely rapid on those mediums. He'll definitely be looking to challenge Craig for the last podium position, and if he's fast enough, even Steele or Aaron for the win.
Gareth and Matty look as if they might have actually got into a bit of a tangle. Matty's picked up a little bit of wing damage for his troubles, so might be a pit stop for him as Reska in front of Gareth again. These two, Delaney managed to burst up the road a little bit. He's got Keza as a buffer, but Keza all over the back of Delaney for that hairpin. Delaney going to be vulnerable, not close enough to Jim in the Williams to get DRS this time around. Not much defence going on from the Red Bull, but none needed. Ferrari slots back in behind despite having DRS out of turn 2. Matty's pitting for the new wing. Holland picks up the fastest lap of the race at 32.394. Adrian Lockdock's already taken 7/10 within 3/4 of a lap off Craig in that Red Bull, back up to a 4-second gap. So Adrian Lockdock pushing, Keza also pushing right up to the back of Delaney. Again, slots back in. There's not much that he can do now that Delaney is getting a drag reduction system from the car in front.
Yes, and Jim the Gooner, actually, as we haven't really mentioned him, is doing a brilliant job on those hards, keeping Delaney behind from all 7 laps, I believe. I believe Delaney came out just behind Jim, and Jim has managed to keep him behind for that time. And now Kesa, obviously, all the way, all challenging Delaney now on those kind of new mediums. He'll be looking to get past both Delaney and Jim.
Luke Bailey having a little look now, caught up to the back of the battle that's happening between Gareth and Reshka. Gareth having to turn his attention from attacking to those side view mirrors. The Alfa Romeo's closed in at a rate of knots, but both cars again, bit of a stalemate. Both going to have DRS on the car in front. Reshka doing very well to hold these two cars at bay, but Keza and Jim through turns 1 and 2 are going to find themselves knocking fields.
As Jim just lost 2 positions in one corner, very unfortunate for him. Not much he can do there with both of them behind having DRS. Kesa now will be having a look at Delaney on the next straight with the DRS. And this should be an easy move.
Yeah, DRS opens as he closes right up to the back of him, but Kesa looks
doesn't
as if
have
he's
any
maybe
DRS left
and holding charge, yeah. A bit further back, it's actually going to be Luke Bailey and Gareth that will be going at it. Gareth managing to hold his defence just now as he's also picking the slipstream and DRS up from Reshka. Still managing to hold these two guys at bay for the time being. Adrian Lockdock closing that gap up to almost 3 seconds now from the man in front of him in the Red Bull. Delaney and Keza going at it again. Keza's pushed up now into 6th place. Delaney's going to fight back. The two of them are going to go side by side again. Oh, Keza's round.
As Aaron goes into the pits.
Keza's
not sure
round.
why.
That's surprising from Aaron. That's not the greatest. They're battling through sector 3 between Keza and Delaney. Yep, Aaron, fresh set boots onto softs. Obviously didn't feel confident enough to take those hards all the way. He did pit early from that first stint, took the hards a good distance, but it's unfortunate from Aaron. Although he might look to be picking up fastest lap, I think he'll do well to finish anywhere other than the small points finishes in the top 10 now. Steele B will inherit your lead. 14 laps in those tyres. Nick J. Thompson 3.5 seconds further back. And Craig is almost within shooting distance with only 5 laps to go now from Adrian Lockdock, the man in the Renault. Jumping down the order, have a little look. Jim the Gooner and Kez up into 6th place now. Jim the Gooner losing another position, but again another man that's showing good pace. 6 laps on those mediums. Keza again wasting no time, pushing right up to the back of the Lanier within half a second.
As we have a
Beck's
yellow
round
flag,
now.
that's a Renault round.
Looks as if another coming together, as Beck needs to be a wee bit careful rejoining. It's alright now.
That's Nick Pitts. Has to be for new softs. So he'll definitely go challenge for the fastest lap and maybe grab a couple of points. I was wondering if you'd try to manage those mediums all the way to the end with 14 laps being
Yeah, definitely a tricky one.
a couple of laps more than you would want to.
Jim Naguna managing to close up to the back of the gap, back of the battle between Delaney and Keza. Delaney defending inside, making Keza go the long way around. The two of them go wheel to wheel again, very respectful driving from the two, but it's Delaney that loses out on this occasion. Keza slots up into fourth, just a bit further up the road by 3.7 seconds. Adrian Lockdock 1.7 seconds back, make that 1.5 now from Craig, who's a further almost 10 second adrift now from Steel B, who looks pretty comfortable out there at the minute.
Yes,
Aaron
he is
Gareth.
almost having a 10-second lead. Very impressive from Steele. As he's managing those hards just as much as Craig on those 15 laps, so they'll be struggling at the end with the tyre wear and the hards, but he's so far ahead, so he'll definitely have time to. He can be a second slower and manage those hards to make sure they'll last all the way. Very impressive from Steele. And from my point of view at least, a bit unexpected to be honest, but yeah, impressed and very well done as so far.
Tremendous drive from the top three so far. Steele be up 6 positions for the lead, Craig up 6 positions for second, and Andrew Locknock up 13 positions. Currently running in third and just now managed to slot himself into DRS range of Craig in front. Like we said, Andrew Lockdock looks to be a man on a mission. Two stop not being very successful tonight, other than Keza finding himself in fourth, doing very well, still fighting his way through the pack. 8 laps on those mediums as R&J now slots to the inside. Reshka not going to have much defence with Aaron on a fresh set of softs. Compromising his line, it's going to bring Reshka back under pressure from the likes of Gareth. We'll jump on board with Andrew Lockdock now, who's going to have DRS this time around and plenty of energy at his deployment to make a charge for the man in front on the Red Bull, who with his red light blinking,
Yeah, Craig just ran out.
Not much he's going to be able to do, but holds on for another straight at least by the looks of it. Gaps up to 3/10, but with the exit that Andrew Lockdock's going to get on 6 lap old mediums. Textbook manoeuvre coming into sector 3 now for the flat right hander. The two of them go wheel to wheel. Craig's managing to hold in there, but I think once they get round these final few corners of the lap, might be bye-bye to second place, turning his attention again to those side view mirrors for Keza and the Ferrari. Now,
Yeah.
Steel B away out front, Jacob. We haven't seen too much of him on track this evening, but again, that's because he has done very, very well to effectively dominate this race. 7.5 seconds there. Andrew Lockdock will try and close that gap up as much as he can. We'll see if he can manage to close it enough to make a charge for the man in the Haas for the final lap or so. R&J now pressing right up to the back of Jim Naguna. DRS or not, he's wasting no time. 6th position. Jim's actually going to manage to hang on to the inside there, but yep, through turn to Alpha Tauri, sorry, stops it way up as Luke Bailey and Boytek look to be going side by side. We've got a 3-car battle here for 10th position. Boytek and Nick Thompson going at it. Nick on fresh soft should hopefully be looking to find himself a bit further up, but Gareth in 8th position's also managed to find his way past Reshka.
Yeah, we have a train from 8 all the way down to 12, so some overtaking maybe on the straight with all of them having DRS on each other.
Aaron and Delaney also swapped in positions a bit further up.
And crucially now for Craig, he'll have to know that Andrew Lockdock has a 3-second penalty, so if he manages to stay within those 3 seconds, then he'll manage to get P2.
It'll be interesting to see if Keza has any penalties as well, as it looks inevitable for him to be closing up to the back of Craig in the Red Bull as well.
Yeah, Keza having 6 seconds worth of penalties. So he'll actually drop down if he
Now,
as
the
it
battle
stands
for
right now.
ninth that our attention's turning to now. Gareth managed to pull away a bit from Reschke, dropped him out of the DRS, but Wojtek and Luke Bailey, as well as Reschke, all three of them getting nice and hairy, and we've actually got
Wojtek with
a
an incredible
4-car battle, 2 cars going side by side. I'm lost for words at the minute. Can the 4 of them all make it through clean and unscathed? And Wojtek's
incredible
got the move
overtake
done
from
on
Wojtek
Reschke.
there.
Excellent driving
Reschke
from
on
all
those
4 of
hard,
the drivers
on those
there.
old hards.
Yep. Reschke
What a
coming
move
under
by
pressure
Wojtek.
again.
And now Nick will definitely look for a challenge on those new softs. This will be for the last point, and both Reschke and Nick will know that.
Nick J. Thompson all over the back of the McLaren. Yep, textbook manoeuvre. Not much Reschke's going to be able to do. It's also going to invite Luke Bailey to potentially have a little move. Nick J. Thompson getting a bit out of the shape there, coming out of turn 9. Keza's within half a second of Craig in front as your leader Steel B is about to approach the final hairpin to start the final lap of round 1 here for IRL's PS4 F3 League.
As Nick almost loses the back end there, keeping the fight with Reschke, managing somewhat to stay within the DRS at least.
Craig is on the brink at the start of lap 27 of falling out with that 3-second time window from Adrian Lockdock in the Renault. We know he's got that penalty and Craig's clean at the minute. Be interesting to see what happens here with Craig and Keza. The last lap battle for the final podium position. 3:10 separate the two, make that 2.5 as DRS is going to open wide for the Ferrari. Red light flashing for Craig in that Red Bull. Keza's going to peel to the inside with the drag reduction system. Not much Craig's going to be able to do, but not only that, for the final sector of the race, he's also going to have Aaron to contend with 5th position, fresh softs and within a second as well. But to be fair, Jacob, Reschke and Gareth still going at it, the two of them.
As Nick is around again, that's so unfortunate. He was looking for the point finish. I'm not sure if he lost it or he had contact with someone, but very unfortunate for Nick.
We're back on board with Steel B, about to round the final corner. Not much screen time for him tonight, Jacob, but I'd rather have the victory if it was me. Celebrating as he comes across the start-finish line. Adrian Lockdock comes across the line in second. Keza and Aaron both managed to pit Craig at the line for 5th, but on penalties it's Aaron that's going to take the final podium position. Keza's going to fall to 5th. Jim Naguna takes 7th. Gareth taking 8th. Wojtek in 9th. Luke Bailey will round out your final points position as he comes across the line. Loses out on penalty to both Reschke and Colin, sorry. Reschke final points position in 10th. Nick J. Thompson, rough race for the man in the AlphaTauri, finishing in 13th. Matty 10 seconds further back in the McLaren, 14th position for him. Teammate of tonight's winner, Jeffrey Henney in the Haas. Find out who the driver of the day is. I think we both know who it's going to be, Jacob. The man on the mission, Adrian Lockdock in that Renault. Up 14
what a drive.
positions. Absolutely incredible. So we'll now read out your final race classifications, and we will be inviting your top 3 podium sitters into the commentary box for the post-race interviews. Stellar drive from that man there in the Haas. Not much to comment for Steel B. He's done very, very well this evening. And here are your race classifications. So, Steel B takes the win, up from 7th place with that one-stop strategy. Won by a good margin as well, closing Adrilock Dock up from 16th, managing to take 2nd. Driver making the two-stop work the best, Aaron GS 1992 in the Alpha Tauri after starting on that front row. Craig takes 4th, Delaney up from 13th and 5th, Kez on 6th, Jim the Gunner on 7th, Gareth on 8th, Luke Bailey in 9th. Reska takes your final points position, as you then see the majority of those that did that two-stop strategy finishing outside of the points tonight. Colin on 11th, Wojtek 12th, Nick J Thompson 13th from pole. Rough race with a lap 1. Matty in 14th, Beck 9000 15th, Jeffrey Henney in 16th, and Simon Palmer your only DNF of the evening. So as the drivers just enter the commentary box at the minute, just wait for them all to join. But a lot more eventful than pre-season testing, Jacob. Almost didn't know where to turn their attention to at some stages. It was non-stop action, lap after lap, up and down the entire grid.
Yeah, overtaking going on from at the front and the back of the grid each lap. Very, very good race and respectful race from everyone tonight, and some incredible racing.
So I do believe we have our current race winner in the commentary box at the minute. We'll just wait for 2nd and 3rd place finishers to enter as well before we commence with the post-race interviews. So yeah, we've seen it quite a lot this week. Again, another dry night, Jacob. I think the guys will be pretty happy with that one. They've had plenty of time to prepare for this one as well. Round 1 here in France.
Yeah, not always. Not every driver practices for the wet, so yeah, the drivers must be happy with the all dry race and quali.
Apologies for the delay, guys. We're just waiting on the final couple of drivers entering the commentary box for post-race interviews. Hope you don't mind waiting. It does look as if we are only going to get graced with the presence of 1st and 2nd place finishers this evening. Now, we do have Steel B and Adrilock Dock in the commentary box with us at the minute. If you don't mind, guys, just double check to make sure that you have got your voice to allow to be shared for the post-race interviews. If you don't know how to do it, if you click the share button on your controller or wheel, scroll down to audio sharing settings and make sure that your voice is on always allow. If you could just confirm with me once you've done that before we start.
Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes, perfect, perfect. So we'll go to Steel B first, race winner. Now, Steel up from 7th, pretty lonely drive on that final stint towards the end. Not really much to comment, to be fair, pretty flawless. You any comments on your own race?
Well, I was practicing my pace, so I did it. My first victory after 5 seasons. I don't know how I'm on here with Invictus. Three or 4 laps before the end, I have 65% left front tire, and I just turned it off and didn't want to see what will happen and right to the end. So yeah, tire hold on, and first victory for me. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, it was a pretty dominant pretty dominant from you today, Steele, especially as Rimac said on the second stint. But as you was first, you had a pretty big lead, but then Adrilogdog on the mediums at the end tried to close you down. What was you thinking right when it happened?
Yes, I was. I have like 9-10 seconds advantage, and I just saved tires all the way. I could probably drive faster, but I didn't. So last 3 laps was lean all the way. So yeah, didn't use fuel and try to stay with whole car health. So that was it.
No, you've done very, very well tonight, Steele, and as you said, first victory here at Invictus Racing League across 5 seasons. A very, very competitive grid here for the PS4 F3 division. Do you think, although it's early doors, you think this will confirm that you are a title contender for this year's Drivers' Championship?
I don't know. I don't know really what will happen. I can't tell.
No, well, congratulations again, Steele. We'll
Thank
speak
you.
to Adri next. It's entirely up to yourself if you want to stick around or if you want to shoot off. But again, congratulations on round 1 victory here in France.
Thank you very much. See ya, guys.
See ya. Now, Adrilogdog, can you hear me okay? Now, at some stages we were lost for words, to be fair, Adri. You started on the hards and you wasted absolutely no time to plough through the field on those mediums. I mean, after the pit stop, were you thinking that you could have made it back up to the lead, or?
Yeah, and I should say that Adrilogdog, you moved from F1 to F3 now, maybe to look for some competition, but you definitely did well today with P2. And I was wondering, in your first stint, how you did you know that you would go that far in the hards to get an overcut maybe on some people, or was that just did it just happen?
Now, just to round out the evening as well, Adri, a 2-part question. Obviously, you started back in 16th, so 1, was that intentional? And 2, the same question as Steele. Do you think you're an early title contender with a clearly dominant pace performance here tonight in France? No, well, you both had a fantastic race. Congratulations again to you both. Unfortunately, Aaron couldn't make it to the commentary box here tonight, so just Steele and Adrilogdog that we're hearing from this evening. Have you anything else to add, Jacob?
Not anything else than congrats to Steele on the victory and dominant drive, and Adrilogdog on the lot of overtakes and perfect strategy. Well done, guys.
So that's going to wrap it up for this evening tonight, guys, in France. Be sure to watch our parallel racing. As we said tonight, we also had PS4 F4 running alongside. That was streamed live to YouTube with Jake, and PC F1 was also streamed on YouTube from 8 PM. So the week's not over. PS4 Performance League tomorrow night at 8 PM. Malc and Tim will bring that to you live from the YouTube channel as well. And on Sunday, the week's racing kicks off again from 9 PM Xbox F1 on Twitch with Dan and Luke. And starting the week, we will be travelling not terribly far, but it's to the Red Bull Ring in Austria, as we said. So again, a very short track, one that brings the pack even closer together. Not much is going to separate this PS4 F3 grid. Certainly going to be one to look forward to as well, don't you agree, Jacob?
Yeah, definitely. As Kimi Räikkönen once said, half the track is almost DRS, so there'll definitely be some overtaking and trains going on, and lots to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for tuning in tonight from myself and Jacob. We'll see you next week, same time, same place in Austria. Thanks, guys.